Yeah, just in the nick of time. Greetings, family. Oh man, that was a close one. Yes, all I can say is welcome, family. Greetings in the name of His and Her Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie the First, Empress Zero Menin, one perfect balance. Oh man, yeah, just doing a number of things. I had the stove on. I was there knocks in the pot. I saw the sister Tamara earlier with an open fire there, man. It looked delicious, so it inspired me to do likewise. So yeah, greetings to each and every one. Jackie, I see you. Okay, everyone is up and running. Tonight promises to be a very enlightening night. So I'm telling you early, go get a pen, go get a pen and a piece of paper. You're going to need it. Without question. Alex 807 on the dot. Yeah, we up and running though. Still having a little technical glitch, but we working around it, as best we can. Although it's starting to expand a bit, but we're gonna figure it out. We're gonna figure it out. Anyhow, family, I trust everybody had a great week start. I can't even say a week start because the weekend, but the last couple of days, however you try to spin it. Ben, I see you plugged in. Yeah, yeah. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Let me drop this tune real quick. Oh man. Yeah, I was on the stove, man. I could smell it. I can't wait to get back. Maybe I should do the live from the kitchen, right? What y'all think? Do the live from the kitchen? I think that'd be very interesting. I was thinking one of the days I'd do a live from the kitchen while I there knocks in the pot. What y'all think? Do a live from the kitchen? Should I do a live from the kitchen is the question. Yeah, I feel so. I feel so. I feel so. But tell a friend and tell a friend. In the meantime, we got some stuff to do. So I want to ahead and share this link real quick. Good night to you too, Sonia. Let me pull this back up here real quick. Anthony B in the building, man. Yes, tell a friend to tell a friend, family. Take this opportunity to share with your people, your neighbor, your groups, your family chat. Come and rock with me, family. I wanna be your number one MC. Come and rock with me. Just for a minute, family. Come on. Tell a friend and tell a friend. We'll be rubber dubbing for life. We'll be rubber dubbing for life. Yes. Rock with me. I wanna be your number one MC. Your number one MC. Come on, rock with me. Reggae music in the place tonight. Yeah, it's in the place tonight. Yeah, so I select that from the music with no comfy waistline. Yes. Everybody rocking to the jump and the bassline. Love it when the woman them a move up the waistline. Steve, I see you. This band bassline. When reggae playing in the street, yo, what a great sign. Man, I deal with love and I eliminate crime. Live in love, family. Sunshine, say you hear it from the grapevine. Broke stick in all your heads. Cause there's a message in the music. So Rasta keep on chanting. Never want to lose it. Don't care how them fighting. The people them a choose it. So please don't use and abuse it. Come on and rock with me. Yeah. I wanna be your number one MC. Come on, rock with me. That's right, family. Rock. Rockin', come on. Come on in, family. Yeah, some of the rocks of Marley and Peter, burning spear and the legend for me well. But the poor castle I see I better. Man original so me born out imitator. When me alive me no want no drama. Me get split each up in a Rasta mouth corner. No more police can brutalize Rasta. Give thanks to them legalize marijuana. So come on, rock with me. I wanna be your number one MC. Yes. Come on, rock with me. We'll be rubber dubbing. Okay, yes. We'll be rubber dubbing for life. Rock with me. Okay. So much going on right now. I mean, where do we begin? First, let me say shout out to all the nurses, man, regardless of what. All the family in Yarramin. Shout out to the people across the water. Yeah. Gotta big up the people. You know that go. I'm looking for my own link. Hold on, I got it. I think I got it. Yeah, got it. I got it. Okay. So I can see what's going on. Hold on, I got it. Yeah, see? There you go. See, I can hear it. All right, so now that I can see what's going on, I can just rest this right here. I can see what's going on. Yes, family. Woo! Brother said nurses on strike. Nurses need our support. Man, we gonna take it somewhere tonight, man. Greetings, YouTube family. Yes, good night to all the YouTube family, YouTubers growing steadily. I don't know Facebook. I don't know YouTubers growing steadily, and that's good. Tell a friend and tell a friend. That's the only way this message gonna get out. As if you do your part, I'm doing my part. You gotta do your part as well. Yeah. Where do I begin? I got a voice note earlier by the brother Fred Corbin, speaking about the fact that the vaccine centers have been slow and shut down because the nurses are on strike. If I'm not mistaken, we spoke about this maybe like 2 weeks ago about the nurses situation, which we had actually overheard inside of a Zoom link conference that was pretty much private, but unfortunately the link got out and some folks actually who are not nurses was privy to hear some of the issues. And I, if I'm not mistaken, coming out of that, there was a lot of stuff that was being said. But when you have half the nurse fraternity in Barbados, half disagreeing with the other half, although it's a different union, this rate gets money. You would think that the union reps would at least have a sit down together, have a conversation, and come to some sort of amicable resolution so as not to make one group look bad or the other group look right. Divide and rule is always the strategy. And although I do not salute the nurses for taking a stance, the fact that the nurses, this is the part that's very troubling. The fact that the nurses have to take this kind of a position to get notice says a lot. And the truth is, what exactly are they protesting? Is it protesting the fact that they're going to be safe zones? Are they protesting the fact that they've not gotten any raise in pay? What exactly are the nurses protesting? Are they protesting the fact that if they don't have a job now, they can't come to work anymore? So there's a lot of things that we can start speculating as to why the nurses took this position and why, once again, about half of the fraternity is like, nah, we cool, So this ought to make you scratch your head and wonder, like, wait a minute, what's really going on? Is there more than meets the eye? Well, the brother mentioned something in his voice note, which I want to address for the first and last time, I hope. Really. For the first and last time. And by the way, shout out to Fred Corbin and all the works he's been doing. But let me just say this, right? You see this thing about unconstitutional rights and all this other constitutional this and constitutional that?
Let me make this very clear. When the Barbados Constitution, what they call the Constitution, which was the Barbados Charter, was first penned by Lord Willoughby and his associates, they did not have the plantocracy in mind. They didn't have you, they didn't have me, they didn't have anybody who they consider to be the servants or the slaves, rather, to use the term loosely, in mind. As a matter of fact, it was for the plantocracy. So when they talk about constitutional rights, what we need to understand is that although we have this illusion of inclusion, namely called election, the reality is it never included us, and it definitely still does not include us. You can tell. Look at what's going on in the last year, year and a half, 2 years, and you can see very well in terms of what these so-called government is doing that it don't include you. They doing whatever they feel like against whatever you have to say, and it's pretty obvious. So you kind of realize that yes, there really is two Barbados. There's a group of people here who are aiding and abetting, and perhaps that's how they get their bread buttered. I don't know, but the reality fact is, we as indigenous people, we have those that were stolen away, have to now redefine where we stand and redefine who we are, especially going forward. Failing to do this at this point will lead us into more perpetual slavery. We don't want comfortability with no enslavement. So no, I don't care about constitutional rights. We were never given rights. This is not a violation of our rights now. Our rights been violated. You look around any impoverished community, the poor housing, the poor education. I mean, you think about it. The job situation, there are no jobs for nobody here, man. You got the youths right now cutting grass all over the country, just cutting bush as if that's all they could do. I don't get it. So now we ain't dealing with no constitutional rights. This is no rights for the people. This is the plantocracy looking to reshuffle itself and just do more stealing. That's all it is. So what we have to do now is start paying taxes. That's what we gotta start doing. We don't want no constitutional rights. You keep your rights. You keep your rights. We're gonna create our own rights and we're gonna do our own thing and form our own government. How that sound? And that's what we need to focus on. Creating our own governing body to speak on our behalf. And I guarantee you then and only then they will comply to anything you put on the table. I guarantee you. But so long as we begging and begging and begging, we'll just be a begging society. Completely lost to the fact that they don't see us as even human. You see what I'm saying? And you can tell they don't see you as human because look how they treat you. And I ain't gonna split hairs on the word human tonight. We ain't going down that road. But the reality, the fact is, you see, there's a lot of stuff that nobody want to talk about because it's sensitive to people. It's real sensitive to people. Because some folks have been playing this game for so long that at this point, they don't even want to be honest with themselves. But tonight, I guarantee before the night is out, we're gonna have a new revelation as to what's really going on. Let me start this program, man. Let me start this. Get your pen, family, and get your paper. And like I said, it's not an issue with the government. So long as we begging for rights, it implies that they have it to give. You see what I'm saying? So long as we are begging for rights, it implies that they have it to give. Now, we the people have the power. So I don't see how if we have the power, we have to beg them. Nurses ain't got to beg them to go to work and not do anything. All the nurses got to do is go to work. Go to work. Just go to work. Don't strike. Go to work. Go to work. Let them pull security. Let them pull all the security forces out and drag you out the building. Then you got a lawsuit because they're supposed to put their hands on you. Go to work. You were good enough to work all last year. Rastafari. You were good enough to work all last year with no problems, putting your life, your family, and everybody in your household at risk. And these demons want to come and tell you can't come to work this year. Let me tell you something, nurses. Go to work. Don't stay home. Go work and take care of the people and make them pay you for it. Simple as that. All that talk about you ain't got a vaccine, you can't come in the building. That wasn't the situation last year when they had the worst variant out, the alpha, the worst. The alpha, ain't nothing worse than the alpha. which is funny because everything else is a mutation of the vaccine, but they ain't gonna tell you that. So now we ain't want your constitutional rights. We're gonna take our own rights, man. We're gonna create our own rights. We're gonna create our own constitution and we're gonna do our own thing. You're free to sit down and negotiate with us if we feel like it. Other than that, we need to do our own thing, family. Full stop. Is evident. Somebody sent me a link earlier to a video. It looks like a party they were having in some local Calypsonian entertainer, clown, gesture. They haven't calling dudes out. I'm gonna start calling people out their character, man. I mean, thinking about it for a second, all for the love of a dollar. For the love of a dollar, I get it, man. But guess what? Judas did betray the Christ for 20 pieces. So we know that there's some who going to betray their own brothers and sisters. They're not their brother's keeper. It's evident. It's evident. They not their keeper. Now, I don't know if the video was new or was an old one that somebody might have threw up just to create a little buzz. You know, people try to do all dumb stuff like that. But regardless, even if it was a new video and they had a little private party, no mask or whatever, I couldn't care less. That's my point. I couldn't care less. Couldn't care less. I mean, hypocrisy, that's not hypocrisy. They are who they are. Simple. And we got to accept that there are ones amongst us who don't have the soul, who don't have that Christ consciousness inside, that will do all kind of other stuff and go to sleep peacefully at night and not think twice about their brother and sister. So you can't expect from them. They're sleeping. You can't, I mean, so it wouldn't be fair to expect that from somebody who's sleeping. It wouldn't be fair. So let me focus on building our own thing, family. That's what we gotta do right now. Build our own thing. That's the bottom line. Because there's some information that we don't know, that we have not been privileged to. And at this point, I think it's up to me to share this with you. Yeah. Now, I got to find a way to do this differently because I don't want to have. Okay, I'm trying to think. Okay, so let me go to this year's screen one time. I supposed to have some guests coming in here in a few. That's providing they're paying attention. I sent the links out already. Give thanks. All right, family. I see you. Yes. All right. All right. Good night to you, sir. I see you. Yeah, check your inbox on Facebook. I sent you the link there already. Got a special guest coming in tonight. 2 special guests. This is going to be very interesting, man. I mean, to say the least. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. But I don't know, man. But let me start this ball rolling until they see what's going on. They could jump right in. Let me go ahead and share this window. Okay, so this is where I'm going right here. I'm going to share this window right quick. Okay, so we're sharing this window. Okay, so where are we going to start? Nurses, we're going to start with the security forces. That's where we're going to start. We're going to start with the security forces, man. We're going to start with the security forces. A lot of people may not be aware, but the plantation police were initially created to do what? Catch the runaway slaves. In case you wasn't aware of that. This is something that is not necessarily known. So this is why when I say to you that you don't have no constitutional rights, you would never had no rights. You would never had no rights. You thought you had rights. That was the illusion of inclusion. Repeat after me. Illusion of inclusion. Make you think you're a part of something that you're not a part of, and for the sole purpose of doing one thing. And that's to give you the impression that you're a part of this thing when you're not. It's unfortunate, but that's where we at right now in today's society. And unfortunately, the youths don't know this. So we think all is well. But the purpose for these individuals is to make sure that they keep you in check on the plantocracy. You see, they literally stole your identity. Remember that. And in some Caribbean islands, believe it or not, and even some islands and some countries in Africa, you imagine you got black judges and lawyers going into court dressed like these clowns, trying to perpetuate a fraud that they stole. That they stole. They completely stole. So nationhood is not what you think it is. It has nothing to do with you being a citizen of Barbados or any other country for that matter. It has nothing to do with that. We're going to get into it tonight. The Fan of the Faith said we must live in peace with our former colonizers, shunning recrimination and bitterness, and foreseeing the luxury of vengeance and retaliation, lest the acid of hatred erode our soul and poison our hearts. Now, what I mean exactly? It means that we could think about let's get back, let's get back, let's get back, or we could focus our energies on rebuilding our nation, recreating our kingdom. You see, Condor. This is actually a castle in Africa. Of course, no one talks about the castles in Africa. No one even speaks about castles in Africa, especially in Ethiopia. No one even talks about it. You go look up castles in Ethiopia or castles in Africa, and you're going to see something that you have never seen before. Go Google that. Go Google that. Be sure to Google that, man. I mean, go Google it, family. Go Google it. All this is what this whole issue is about. Resources. That's what this whole thing was about. Resources. Always been about resources. Been about resources from day one. Day one. Been about resources. You see what I'm saying? But in order to move forward, family, in order to move forward efficiently and effectively, what we have to do is realize if we wish to move mountains tomorrow, we must start by lifting stones today. In order to correct this problem, we got to first start to identify where the problem lies. And the problem lies in we're begging to be included in a system that was never designed for us. It was never designed for us. Never. None of those constitutions had you in mind. As a matter of fact, in fact, they had the unmitigated gall to write what is called the Barbados Slave Code. Now check this out. There's a constitution. No, listen. No, hold on, man. Hold on a minute. Let me touch this real quick, man. Let me touch this real quick. Well, y'all listen to me real quick. They write two documents. Two. They wrote a charter, the Barbados Charter, which was developed into the Constitution, and they wrote the Barbados Slave Code. Now, let me ask you a question, my wise, intelligent associates. If they wrote two documents, one to govern the ones writing the charter, and one to govern the treatment of those who were in prison and enslaved, does that mean that they're two separate, how should I put it, groups or class of people being identified by these two separate documents? Will the plantocracy govern itself based on the Barbados Slave Code? Or will it govern itself based on the Charter/Constitution? And will the plantocracy then in turn treat the enslaved prisoners based on the Constitution? Or will they treat them based on the Barbados Slave Code? This is what you're talking about, family. Nurses, you never have no constitutional rights. You don't have no rights. This is what you do. Go to work. You can answer rights all you like. They're not going to listen to you because they know it don't apply to you. You go to work, though, they're going to have to get physical. I tell you, if they get physical, call Black Lion Security. Do I tell you? Just call Black Lion Security. You ain't got a God number. Just put your request out there. They'll hear it and they'll come. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. This thing done gone too far. The goal is not to impress your enemy, but to defeat him. You see what I'm saying? We ain't got the time to be playing around. We ain't got the time to be playing around. We're going for the juggler. We're going for the juggler. Sisters, right now, we can be independent all day, but without our brothers, we are incomplete. Real talk. That's why we got to come together now, family. We definitely not leaving the nurses out there by themselves at all, at all, at all, at all. Nurses going to work. We need to organize it. See, the brother that in charge of that union, he's supposed to make sure he contacts some security forces and send nurses to work. And if the nurses are met with any form of hostility, the security forces is supposed to defend these nurses here by any means necessary. Because I'll be damned, right, if they're going to treat the nurses who sacrificed the whole of 2020 and the earlier part of 2021 to now to be marginalized and through the works of some so-called union rep, they're going to sit on the sideline and watch from the side. Nah, nah, that can't fly. That can't fly. That can't fly. So what we're going to do is take a look at this thing called nationhood. In law, a person is an artificial entity. Artificial means fake. In law, there's no such thing as a a neutral person, because the definition of natural is real. But hold on, go back there a second. There's no such thing as a natural person because the definition of natural is real, made by God, while a person is created by man. Now you can look that up if you don't mind. I don't have my dictionary here tonight. I don't have it tonight. But you could go look that up and you can check it out for yourself and see the difference between a natural and a person, and see that there's no such thing as a natural person. It's contradictory. You see? Learn the rules of the game. Now there's several little links you got, and the people who tell you all kind of stuff online, I suggest people do some research, get people who know what's going on, and ask questions. There's 7 different types of persons: individual, association, partnership, company, corporation, estate, and trust. But make no mistake, they are all artificial, meaning fake. Please look up the definitions, study and educate yourself. Artificial persons are in the public, a natural being are private. Be private and you will be God. Now, so that people don't freak out over this word God, understand that that's why there's such a thing as private property. When you have private property, certain rules don't apply. It's a different reality. So when they wrote the Constitution, it applied to the private beings. You see, the natural individual. Well, I wouldn't say individual because individual is some fake as well. So I wouldn't say that. But the natural being, you see, in the flesh, the God-given man, the man with the spirit of God, is what I'm talking about. Not no artificial fiction. I wouldn't even touch the cardinal rules of life. This must say, okay, you know what is in there, so let me go through it. 5 cardinal rules for life. Make peace with your past so it won't disturb your present. What other people think of you is none of your business. Time heals almost everything. Give it time. No one is in charge of your happiness except who? Except who? A lot of people depend on other people to make them happy. I don't know why. I suppose that's conditioning too. Don't compare your life to others and don't judge them. You have no idea what their journey is all about. And that's a fact, family. So when you see people doing the things they're doing and they out there having a whole different reality, and you ask yourself, damn, what that's about, don't even get into it. Focus on what you need to do and make that happen. Make it happen. I want y'all to pause real quick and look this up. Rex 84. I'm gonna pause for a second. Go look this up, family. Rex 84. Go look this up. Look that up. Rex 84. Rex 84. What take a minute and Google that. You got a smartphone on the side. If you watch this on a live, flip the screen real quick. I'm gonna give you 30 seconds and type in Rex. REX 84. Google that. Rex 84. Yeah? You got it? If you got it, let me know. If you got it, let me know. Rex 84. This right here, family, is going. I mean, if you never knew it before, if you never knew it before, I ain't gonna tell you. I mean, this right here. Let me see somebody put it up. What is the status of the person in the Constitution versus people or public who voted for them in office versus to those who visit the shores by treaty? Now that's a meat question, Alec, Violet, Violet Beckers. That's a meat question. I'm going to address that a little later on tonight for sure. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Yeah. Rex 84. I don't know. I don't know if it is that we really grasp how serious this thing really is. I mean, on a serious note, this is not it's not to be taken lightly at all. All right, so we're back at it. Rex 84. Anybody find what it means yet? Ready next exercise. A detention plan. Okay. Okay. Greetings, Zamuni. Yeah, it's a plan they have. It's a plan, all right. And understand that this plan is not a plan that just came out to be. You see? It's not a plan that just came out. It's a plan that was out for a while. I mean, if you think about it, King Alfred's plan. This is what is known as the King Alfred's plan. It has a code name Rex 84. But if you go look up King Alfred's plan, you'll realize that it's an extermination of blacks in America. Now, bear in mind, the Caribbean is no different because a lot of the Caribbean islands are now territories of um, North America, what they call America, and the individuals who govern these places. Is something that is very interesting, right? And I came across this and thought it was interesting because it speaks about what's going on today. Now, you would think, right? I mean, you would think that, and bear in mind, this brother right here must be going through some, I can't imagine what thoughts, I mean, despite all the donuts he clearly been eating, I can't imagine what thoughts he's currently having right now as this young lady who is clearly in uniform, and as you can see, walks up to him and, you know, I was just wondering, like, I was just wondering, of all the people, right? And this brother right here, he's trying to look like without making it obvious, like, yo, man, I mean, understand that they're here to defend these individuals in the white. But understand how he must feel right now. And the brother looking on would be thinking, you know, I bet he's thinking, I need to change my job, man. I need to change my job because the truth about my job is slowly coming out. The truth about my job is slowly being exposed. You see, I was put here to do one thing and one thing only. One thing and one thing only. This is pure psychology, family. This ain't nothing but psychology. You know. Now, Alex, you answer question. Well, sorry, Violet. This is crazy. Answer question about people and persons, right? But let me say this first. Done. I want you all to write this down too. Them diversities. Write this down. Them diversities. Write this down. Paper bill issued 18th of June 1452. You need to look this up. You need to look this up. It's a must. Yeah, look that up. Look that up. Look that up. Look that up. This is going to blow your mind. Look this up, family. Go type this in and go look this up. This is why we have to teach our children early. Write this down, family. When you got this written down, give me a little feed forward. Let me know what's going on. Let me know you got it down pat. Let me know you got it. Pope in America in 2016. You know, we want to know why Barbados ran and pushed the Republic. There's things we don't even know going on behind the scenes. Why Prince Charles came down here, or the being that looks like Prince Charles came down here. We don't have a clue who that really is. We don't even know. This is all theatrics. This what's going on behind the scene. Write this down. Okay, got it. Okay. Good, good, good. This is why we have to teach our children in the early. Stop letting them watch SpongeBob and Dora and Nickelodeon. A lot of them TV shows promote homosexuality and pedophile and all kind of wickedness, man. Now, stop letting your children watch all these, what do you call it, Roblox and all this crap. I start to teach them in the early what's really going on. You see what I'm saying? Because there are people amongst us who are benefiting from the ignorance of the people. The unfortunate part is that they're the ones that's going to have to, at some point, as long as the general population is passive, apathetic, diverted to consumerism or hatred of the vulnerable, then the powerful can do as they please, and those who survive will be left to contemplate the outcome. Interesting. Interesting. As crazy as it is, right? As crazy as it is. Nevertheless, yeah, man. This is how we reach the point where we got to be honest with ourselves, family, and ask yourself a question, man. You know, what really going on? What really going on, man? How we get in this position in the first place? How we got in this position? We got here through your birth certificate. Of course, your parents didn't know this, and we talked about this the other day. We spoke about this briefly the other day. They didn't know any better. They didn't know no different. So they did what they felt was best. They did what they felt was best. They did it. Their grandparents did it. Everybody come along doing it, so they did it, not knowing what it really meant. Well, let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at it. Under the Republic, is the government still part of the Commonwealth? Well, the answer is yes, and well, yes, because nothing really changed. It just the illusion of inclusion. You see, the illusion of inclusion. The land was already given back to the people. So what they wanted to do now is basically steal the land. So the way they stole the land was, act like they go into the republic so that they can put their hands on the land. The queen has already, well, I can't even speak on that. I mean, not even go there. Because I don't know if she's passed away, if this is a clone. We don't know what's going on in the Buckingham Palace. We have a clue. What I would say, however, is that the Crown land, what was once known as Crown land, is now the land of the Republic. But again, like the Constitution and the plantocracy, that don't apply to the average Joe. Why did Barbados Prime Minister, Prime Servant, before seeking to leave the sovereign coverage of the royal family, why did she not ask for reparation in the form of debt cancellation in addition to republic status? All these interviews with her all over the world, all these fancy reporters and everything. And I have never, I mean, they could, if they had interviewed me, I would tell you right now, my thing would have been like, yo, I mean, we want debt cancellation. Give Barbados a fresh start. We don't owe nobody jack. Let's build this nation according to the way we plan to build it. I mean, that makes sense. Put some money towards the infrastructure. We start with 100 billion. You call it a start. I mean, not asking much. We call it a start. Debt cancellation. Write me a check, 100 billion. And we going clear. Build better roads, better hospitals, better learning institutions, create more job opportunities, focusing on technology, also focusing on innovation in the region, rather than bringing all these electric buses from China. We can't make an electric bus here. Shit, we make Acme vans here. If we can make an Acme van in Barbados, well, we can't make an electric bus, but it's only a motor and a battery. I mean, it's like building a remote control car. Just a big one. I'm sorry, I getting carried away. But you were born, your parents register you with the government as a corporation by receiving and signing a birth certificate. In a few years, your corporation will receive a taxpayer's ID number called a social security number or an IS number or RID number, depending on where you are. This is so you can be used as collateral for the government to acquire debt. Your labor, time, and energy backs up the national debt. You are stock and don't even know it. So there you have it in a nutshell, family. There you have it in a nutshell. So to answer the question earlier about persons coming and entering via treaty by sea, not everyone is registered here under the cooperation and therefore is not stock. There are individuals who come here from abroad and they have certain status. We don't have status. We are stock. That's why they should tell you back in the days, you're from good stock. You're from good stock. And we play with these words, not even knowing what they meant. We just ran with them, not realizing that they were making a mockery of us all along. Good stock, huh? Good stock. Live birth. Now, to see the live birth is what you got to get from the hospital. After you give birth if you go to the hospital, and the nurses can tell you this, to give birth, and you have a live birth, there's two records, because obviously they have to make a record in the hospital of the birth. That's called a live birth, because a live birth occurred. Now you have certain amount of days to go and collect that. People don't even notice. You got to go and collect that within a certain amount of days. If you fail to collect it, well, it's forwarded on to the government and a bunch of other things happen in the background. And this is where the problem comes from, because no one tells you that. No one ever told you that. The people who know this go and collect theirs, though. Oh, yeah. But who don't know, right? Ignorance. Ignorance. Did China put you in court? Wait, hold on. That's a question for me, Steve. Did China put me in court? Or that's just a question in general? The money was stolen under the independence and carried offshore. now claiming it broke under the Republic for the 5 years of being crooks. The money is there. Well, I'm not debating whether the money there or not, Violet. I'm not debating whether the money is there or not. I'm simply saying that until we get these crooks out the way and have access to the documents that reveal the crookedness, they're going to continue to funnel the funds and give to who want the funds to keep the silence. Because that's what they're doing. They're buying silence. They're buying your silence. They're buying your soul. They're buying your soul. That's what it is. But we now for sale. Now this is where this thing gets real interesting now. The difference between the term nation, state, and country. Even though the words are often used interchangeably, country and state are synonymous terms that both apply to self-governing political entities. A nation, however, is a group of people who share the same culture but do not have sovereignty. Interesting. Interesting. Write that down, family. Nation, state, and country. And what's the difference? Make sure you write that down. Nation, state, and country. And what's the difference? Go look that up. Write that down. They can't buy me with my own money. That's right. Emancipation. Don't forget that this is where the brother Corbin spoke earlier about constitutional rights. And this is why I'm trying to explain to people that there were two separate documents, one to govern the enslaved and one to govern the plantocracy. The plantocracy decided at some point to emancipate the then enslaved / prisoners. But what that word emancipation meant at the time, see, we made the assumption it meant freedom. It meant to set free. But what were we being set free from? What is it we were being set free from? We're being set free from one plantation to a new owner. See, we didn't understand that. You see, emancipation, the act of setting free from bondage or disability of any kind, the state of being set free. Okay? That's in one sentence. But emancipation also, in a way, from emanciper, which is a French word, I'm not mistaken, to transfer property. Manumus, manuscript. That's another word you all look up. To transfer property. So rather than being governed by your plantation, rather than being owned by your plantation, they shuffle the cards. So they said you're gonna have one plantation head house and just a bunch of different corporations that you get to choose to work for. But you will work because neither could you say, well, look, I want to go back to Africa. Let me get on a boat heading out and head back home, or let me go back to one of the Caribbean islands that I came from, because everybody did not come from Africa. We got to stop perpetuating that lie. And there's sufficient evidence to support that as well, especially when you start looking at the colonizing of Suriname, for example. They brought people from all across the Caribbean to colonize that land. They didn't bring no Africans. They brought people from Barbados, St. Vincent, St. Lucia, and they took them down there. Well, where these people come from? Where did they get these people from? Where did these indigenous people come from if they had slaughtered them and took the land? Because they didn't slaughter everybody. And by the way, why take people down there who don't have no skills to do nothing? But you got to whip. You want men that have compass and square knowledge. You want people that know craft, builders, farmers, teachers, doctors, you know. But hey, don't let me tell it. Remove the man from any population, that population will cease to increase. You want to know why the men scarce, right? This is a link from Cardinal College. Now listen, family, listen to me very carefully. I want y'all to go ahead and look this up, cardinalcollege.org. I would have probably spoken about this before, but I'm not sure if I did. In the event that I didn't, well, here you have it. This is a screenshot. For some time, the estates were ran by Barbadian planters. who acted either as agents or trustees or managers conducting business in the way all estates in Barbados were ran. Codrington's desire to Christianize the slaves. You hear this right here? No, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. This is a message for all my Christendom individuals that may not understand that Christianity, as it was taught to black people in the Western Hemisphere, started in Barbados. Here, it was originated in Barbados on this plantation. Now, listen to this man carefully, because prior to this, there was no such thing as a black Christian, not as we know it today. Didn't exist. You were being beaten if you were singing Kumbaya or any of them African songs of beating drums. Nah. So he said, Cardinal's desire to Christianize. Here's the word, Christianize. What kind of word is that? Christianize. I'm going to Christianize the slaves. Wow. He is going to convert them to Christianity for the sake of control, by the way. No other reason. Anyhow, Carleton's desire to Christianize the slaves was rejected by the Barbadian plantocracy, who opposed teaching the slaves how to read and write. I wonder why. Evidence shows that the slaves were even branded with the letters Society on their chests, a practice that was discontinued when Reverend Hall, rector of St. Andrew, protested to the SPG. I'm sure that that's Society Plantocracy Group or something. I'm not sure. But I want to show you all something very carefully. This for the nurses. In 1741, listen to the date. In 1741, over 100 slaves or prisoners, because they were here against their will, 100 prisoners from the estate marched to Bridgetown. They marched to Bridgetown, or they walked. You see the language, right? The language. They marched to Bridgetown, or they walked to Bridgetown to protest their treatment to the SPG agents in Barbados. Sounds familiar? It was only in 1790. Wait, hold on a minute. So in 1741, listen to this carefully. They marched to protest in 1741 and only got, hold up. Bridgetown protested treatment to the SPG. It was only in 1790 when the anti-slave movement in England exerted pressure on the Anglican Church and the SPG that there was some amelioration in the conditions of the slave. In that some. How many years is that? That is 49 years, to be exact, if I'm not mistaken. It took them 49 years to get some sort of hearings, but that was only based on what happened in England and pressure on the Anglican Church. You see this Anglican Church, when the two love the Anglicans, to get some sort of amelioration in the condition of the slaves. You can't make this up, family. Look, this is on Cardinal College website, man. This is nothing that Emmanuel made up. This is Cardinal College. Click on the part that marked historical and read the whole thing. It's just a screenshot of one part. It's just a screenshot of one part. Yeah. I screenshot of one part. Nevertheless, I don't even know what to say about this, man. I mean, when you start getting into this stuff like this, you should brand them with the word society on their chest. You should brand them with the word society. Why society? What does that word mean? Society is the root word. Socialists. Keep that in mind. Reconsidering, but the funny thing is this, you know, after all this change, they came and told us, well, we're now a democracy. You know, after they put us through hell, they told us, well, we are democracy. The problem is that they didn't want us to read or write. Remember that? Remember that? They didn't want us to learn to, wait, hold on, where is it? The slaves were rejected by the Barbados plantocracy, who opposed teaching the slaves how to read and write. So the idea was to keep you ignorant. Once you're ignorant, it's easy to control you. So they want you to read and write, but they told you that you're now democracy. Well, let's look that up, man. The traditional etymology for democracy suggests that it derives from two Greek words, demos, meaning the common people, and kritos, meaning rule. While rule of the common people appears to describe what we today understand the word democracy refers to, the translation actually appears to mask or confuse much of the history and meaning related to the word. Oh, that's interesting. For example, the word demos did not originally refer to common people. Rather, the word demos referred to districts within Attica, the region that constituted the city-state of Athens. Each citizen of Attica, regardless to where he eventually resided, foreigners, women, and slaves, were all excluded from citizenship. Was known by his demos. Okay, that cut short. But you can look this website up online, revelation.org. New website, democracy etymology. You can look this up yourself and get the full reading of it. Write this down and see for yourself. Again, the slaves were Slavs. It's so funny how this thing coming closer to home, eh? The demos, the common people. Okay. So it never meant everybody. It just meant a certain group of people. Okay. So the government ruled the common people. Okay. Nice. We're getting somewhere. Democracy, a system of government by the whole population or all the eligible members of a state, typically through elected representatives. Quite interesting. Demon, the devil. I don't want to get too much into this. Demo. Okay. Quite interesting, but never mind. Etymology is the answer to all this confusion here. The Etiman is king. The rebellious slaves. I won't even go around this. This is another Willoughby. Always a Willoughby. Willoughby Cotton. He had the nerve. This is rebellious slaves, Negroes. You have taken up arms against your masters and have burnt and plundered their houses and buildings. Some wicked persons have told you that the king has made you free. Imagine this. This is in 1832. Some wicked person, not what they're doing, have told you that the king has made you free and that your masters without your freedom and that your masters withhold your freedom from you. In the name of the king, I come amongst you to tell you that you are misled. Imagine this here though. Like, study this thing for real. Study it for real. You see why the police were created right after Emancipation, if you ain't realize it yet, realize the police didn't exist before emancipation. They were created post-emancipation for this same reason right here. But yeah, but that's all right. Algerian dialect. Create the problem, control the reaction, and then offer the solution. That's where we at, family. That's where we at right now. This is exactly where we at right now in the timeline of things going on. And that's where we find ourselves today in 2020, 2021, going into 2022. And the thing is this though, right now they're talking about Barbados and constitutional right. That's why even if you go to court, young people go to court, young men, they don't have no way out. More often than not, they all end up in dogs throughout the whole Caribbean. How many white people see in dogs or Chinese or anybody else? And you don't see them. You don't see them. Different set of rules. They have a different understanding and they don't tell you the secrets. They know that you ain't know, so you're gonna fall victim to it every time. And the bar association is the problem. Believe you me, you can't trust these attorneys. Can't trust them. You might find one or two that might have a moral compass that really balancing the scale of justice. But if you can find that one, keep her close to you. She represents justice. He represents justice. But apart from that, I don't know. I mean, it is what it is. And they'll tell you that. And that's how you know it's corrupt because they'll see the evidence pointing at somebody's guilt, yet their duty is to get them free based on the law, the codes, the keys. So not to find justice, but to play a game to see who plays it the best. Serious, man. But Sonia, yeah, democracy short for demons. Interesting. So guess what? Guess what? I'm glad that somebody mentioned it. I'm glad. You see, this is how I tell you, man. I be knowing how we on the same page, man. We be on the same page, man. We be on the same page. So then the question now comes in, what is a demon? Because the church told us all our life what a demon is supposed to be. But do we really know what a demon is? Do we really know? Do we really know? Well, let's find out. Let's find out if we really know. Hang on a second. Let's find out if we really know. And this is good that the brothers should join us at this point in time. The question is, democracy is short for demons. So the question is, what is a demon, family? The question now is, what is a demon? And before I finish up here and give way to the brothers coming on, I just want to say this real quick. I want to thank you all for really paying attention tonight for sure. And, really, really tuning in and asking questions. Hold on. I'm going to switch it. Give me a second. I got you. There you go. There you go. I'll get back to that one in a minute. This is where I want you all to write these words down. Write all of them down. I mean, we've been told something contrary for years. Originally, the Greek word daemon for knowledge. It's a Greek word. If you go look up daimon in the Greek lexicon, you'll discover that the word, what we call a demon, believe it or not, means knowledge. I bet y'all didn't know that. That's deep, right? So what is this demon? Demons are the ones with knowledge. So individuals who have knowledge are called demons, the enlightened ones. Let's go a little deeper. This thing, look, man. This thing deep, family. We have been misled and hoodwinked. Our nationhood is not what you think it is. We have the illusion of inclusion onto some fancy words, and we don't have a clue what it really all means. But demon is one of those words that doesn't mean what you think it means. Go look it up. Go look up the word demon in a Greek lexicon to determine when the Bible used the word demon, what it meant. Not what the church told you it meant, what the word actually meant. Knowledge. The word Lucifer, by the way, is another one of those words that kind of ambiguous in a bit. And the word Lucifer from Latin means lucer feri, and it means the light carrier or the light bearer, one who bears the light. So these aren't names; these are just words that describe a title. So one who bears the light is considered the Lucifer, the Lucerne Ferrer, the light bearer, the light carrier. That's all it means. Someone who carries the light. So it has nothing to do with anything evil, to use the word loosely. Satan, originally Hebrew word meaning adversary or questioner. In other words, anybody who asks questions. So understand on the plantocracy, if you ever ask Massa, why you don't treat the people any better? Huh? Why you don't treat the people with a little love and respect? You were considered Satan here. You can't question Massa. You would consider having the devil in you and need to beat that out of you because you question it. You can't question the authority. You have to be wicked or something or whatever. And obviously then the devil, which is also another Greek word, which means diablos, which is funny because diablos simply means accuser, one who accuses, which is so funny. The definition of these words in their original language do not mean anything that's evil, which is funny. Which is funny because we are taught otherwise. And to go back to that, the same power that raised Christ from the dead is inside of you. I think that is a good place to start at this point now and bring my brother into this platform as we speak. Yes. Yes. So let's see if your mic is muted. I don't know if you can hear me. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. If you can hear me, respond. I see it's trying to load. I see it's trying to load, brother, but I'm not seeing it loaded, so I'm not sure if I'm not sure. I see it's trying to load. I don't know if your Wi-Fi or some other reason. Yes, they made witches look bad too. Of course, Christians both here think is a red man with horns and tails. Ben, behave, man. I mean, some people think that because it's Hollywood. You know, they were led to believe that, so they kind of subscribe to that and think that's the truth, but I don't know, man. I don't know, man. But join us tonight is a brother. Like I said, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it spin and spin and spin, and I'm not seeing it respond accordingly. Yeah, I'm not seeing it respond accordingly, so I'm not sure what's going on there. If you can hear me, my brother, please respond. I don't want to say who it is as yet. Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be nice. Oh, wait a minute. Okay, try it again. Try it again. Let me time that 2 hour away. Try it again and see what happens. Okay. There you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. Now we talking. Now we cooking with gas, man. Now we cooking with gas. None other than the dynamic apostle Scanterbury with us on politically incorrect. I mean, There's no way we could stop you from not coming on tonight. Nothing could stop you from coming on here tonight, man. Welcome.
Yes, sir.
Welcome. I definitely want the family to reach forward and give you a warm welcome as well. We're here discussing some knowledge, wisdom, and understanding.
Yes, sir. I love it. Well, let me just say a pleasure to be here with you tonight, and just had some technical difficulties, but we seem to have gotten that sorted out. So I'm really excited. I appreciate the opportunity to be on your show, and looking forward to what will unfold tonight in our discussion.
Well, we are welcome to have you as well. I mean, you can see that's on the response alone. I mean, the family is always welcoming a brother from another mother. It's all one family. You know, we were discussing earlier how we got to this position. We kind of took it from the ships before the ships to the point where they were using the birth certificates and different labels and the trick of democracy and the government. And here we are now. The brother was talking the nurses on strike, and they have this constitutional rights and this stuff. So we kind of like paint an image, discussing how is it that, because I told them there were two documents created: the Constitution and the Barbados Slave Code. Why two different documents? Because they govern two different set of people, and we have this illusion of inclusion that they always meant us. But as Christ-like beings, as children of the Most High, we, blessed the man that walketh not the counsel of the unrighteous. We don't have no business trying to beg them for comfort with enslavement. We need to go and build our own nation, set up our own sovereign status, and govern ourselves according to what the Bible basically told us. It didn't say to leave Egypt and then take some pharaohs with you and make sure they rule over you. Nah.
Right.
Go build. So tell us a little about why you're here tonight, my brother, because fate would have it that all the nights you are here.
Well, listen, we have to really take a more serious approach to understanding humanity and why we have nations that seek to govern other nations. It's not biblical for nations that are disposed to the demonic to govern the nation that is following the divine.
That's right.
Okay. Anytime you have a nation, and whether you want to accept it or not, slavery is a matter of nations that are governed by the demonic, seeking to enslave nations that are following the divine. Africa, for instance, has been one of those nations that has seen a lot of that. Black people, on the whole, have seen a lot of that. Simply because Africa has been a nation from millennium and to the point where prophecy regarding the Christ, out of Egypt have I called my son. And you realize that great men of God, like Abraham spent quite a lot of time in Egypt, actually. History tells us that Abraham had a school in Egypt where he actually taught a principle called the way of the Lord. And then after that, we understand there was I call it an insertion, okay? An injection of Joseph into Egypt, who eventually saved the world through his wisdom. That's right. And then brought Jacob and the 75 down into Egypt. And then we have the multiplication of the children of Israel within Egypt. So Egypt was basically used as an incubator.
That's right.
To bring the nation of Israel to the place where it needed to be. And then we have obviously the Exodus with Moses. Now, what we do not really see and what we don't understand in terms of democracy is not something that is supposed to be worldwide in terms of governing nations. It's specific to nations. Okay. So each nation, like Israel, God gave Israel their own laws, their own constitution, and he eventually gave them their own calendar, especially when they were coming out of Egypt that night. God said, okay, for you, this is a brand new year. Today is the first of the year for you. So while the rest of the world, they were operating under an old calendar, the children of Israel were now operating under a brand new calendar in a different time zone, and obviously moving to the next phase of their evolution as a nation.
Interesting.
We've seen where over the years, it's because of this concept of uh, nations that are moving in a different zone, in a different timing to other nations, which Africa was obviously moving in, and why Africa is always the place to go to conquer, so that the rest of the world can, fall into the trap that we have today, whether spiritually, financially, socially, no matter what it is. That's one of the reasons why now all of a sudden all of these viruses are coming out of Africa, because it's like the go-to nation to cause trouble.
Put the blame on Africa.
Exactly. And what we have to realize, which is very, very critical, is that you can't build a constitution on a nation until you know where you're going as a nation.
That's right. That's right.
Okay.
Say that again, man. That's critical.
You cannot build a constitution until you know where you're going as a nation. America built its constitution because the gentleman who was on the $100 bill, who is Benjamin Franklin, who was not a president but the Secretary of State, it is recorded that he, in the mid 1700s, he visited Africa, and he took a lot of the scrolls regarding the writings of Abraham out of Egypt, and the study that Abraham did in Egypt. He had those scrolls. Now, this is part of history that I've studied, and I'm speaking under correction, but he used the teaching of Abraham to structure the Constitution of America. Okay, with we the people built that around how Abraham would have taught his children. There's a verse in in Genesis 18:19, that the Lord says, "I've known and chosen Abraham as my own, and that he will teach his children the way of the Lord, and to do that which is just and right, so that the Lord may bring on Abraham what he has promised." And that's where America got their system of justice and right from, Abraham's teaching, which made America a very great nation. But they've fallen from that. Now, we, on the other hand, as the Caribbean, we've only benefited from the teachings that were given to us about what right and justice really is all about. So for the last 55 years, this country never really had a vision. So what is your constitution about if you don't have a vision, if you don't know where you're going?
But what is the cliche? What does the scripture say about he who does not have a vision?
Well, you're going to perish for sure.
Perish.
It's clear about that.
We have the nurses on strike. We have the nurses on strike. We are going to perish. The nurses.
Yeah. And this is why we're at this point. And I've studied our constitution here in Barbados, and I've always encouraged my members to download a copy of it and read it for yourselves, so that you know what your rights are and you know when your rights are being infringed on. But sadly, a lot of individuals here don't know our constitution. Now, besides this, a lot of folk don't know that what is called the Oistins Treaty.
Wow.
Okay. Now, George Washington came here and he took back the Oistins Treaty to America. And a lot of Barbadians don't know that half of the American Constitution is the Oistins Treaty.
Okay. Which
means that we had individuals here with a certain level of wisdom that America did not have.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. Now we have lost that wisdom. And because we've lost that wisdom, we've never really been able to recover from that and to properly articulate where we're supposed to be as a nation. And so we have now allowed ourselves to be governed by outside influences, whether China, America, African nations, nations that we consider great, when we have the seed of greatness in Barbados.
Our own greatness.
But we've never pushed our own greatness, which is which tells you that you really don't know where you're going as a nation. So your constitution becomes very weak, and it can only be properly displayed in the court of law. But in terms of it having power with its citizens, it is really dead
Yeah.
in relation to its citizens, but only powerful in the court of law. Now, the Constitution should help the citizens to develop and evolve.
Mm.
The court should not be the place where the Constitution is enforced, or even in Parliament. It's there for every citizen to say, this is the agreement that government has with the people. This is what we stand on, and I can enforce the Constitution whenever I'm ready.
Mm.
But that's not the picture that was painted.
No.
So this is why it always seems that the Black community, we're always marginalized, we're always pushed up against the wall, and many times by our own people who are aware of the fact that we don't know what our Constitution is, and many times by those that we voted for who have not really said, this is a vision, this is where we're going as a nation. And so we're always back to this situation over and over and over. So this is where we're getting our problem in relation to the people, the Constitution. And now that you're getting people to wake up and begin to speak out against what is happening, because this whole COVID situation has been a lie from the beginning, and it still proves itself to be a lie today.
Yes.
So there are a lot of things that are going to happen to kind of wake people up. And this is where now the Constitution is going to have more power, because the people are going to begin to know that we have rights now, and our rights are being interfered with.
I totally agree. I thank you for sharing so much as well. And it's amazing how, because as a Rastaman, you know, people tend to think that when it comes to the church and different individuals who represent the church, that you're supposed to bonfire up on the church and bonfire up on the Bible and all this kind of madness. I'm telling you that in my father's house there are many mansions, you know. At the
Yes,
end
sir.
of the day,
Yes, sir. That's true.
it's about coming together and building that unity. And a lot of the issues we think are issues aren't even issues if you compare them to the
Right.
issues we really have. You know,
Right.
right now in Barbados, the main thing, especially within the last, I guess I could say, 2 months, would be this republic, this
Right.
parliamentarian republic. What are your views from a spiritual perspective as to why we now find ourselves in limbo between constitutions and very much uncertainty, as far as I'm concerned, as to where this I don't even want to even say nation state, really. I don't even know what to call it at this point in time. You know, where are we going?
Okay. Well, let me be clear on this. The concept of Barbados going republic was in the picture for a long time. Okay. Um, but evidently, in order to go republic, you must have a referendum, because it is really about the people and not necessarily what a government wants.
Right.
Now, the problem that we have here in Barbados is that it never went to a referendum. So what we have as a republic is just a parliamentary republic. So the president, the current president, is a ceremonial president, because the president was elected not by the people, but by the parliament.
Right.
Okay. Now this literally kills the power of what being a republic is all about.
And I totally agree. I mean, totally.
It's totally dead, and that's why there's so much of stalemate, and this is why there's this issue now of now having to come to look over the Constitution. And let me say something as simple as our passport that currently states that by the authority of the Governor General of Barbados, you should not be restricted in terms of entering other countries. But currently, you don't have a Governor General. So the passport is basically null and void. Now they can tell you, oh, because it's not out yet, it's still valid. It's still valid based on the fact it may have 2 or 3 more years on it. But in terms of its power, it has no power. You have, as a Barbadian traveling right now, you have no jurisdictional power. You have no protection.
None.
Okay. Now these are things that should have been thought about before we went republic, but they were never talked about. And the reality is that the people were never invited to be a part of this. And I'm going to tell you something, because I was watching on CBC for some reason. I was by my father-in-law, and they were watching CBC, and there was a program there with two gentlemen, and they were talking about the Republic. And I listened to what some of the individuals they interviewed. They were talking about how, you know, Barbados was going to republic under on Arthur, and there was this Henry Ford Commission, and everything was set in place to go republic. But then there was a situation between Basil Pandey, A&R Robinson, and the other gentleman there in Trinidad. But anyway, there was a problem at Mr. Arthur. He said Mr. Arthur pulled back on the project because he listened to the grassroots people and not to the elite. Okay. And then there was another lady, I'm not going to call her name, but the statement she made, I really paid attention to what she said. She said one of the reasons why we could not take the status of republic to the people, we could not do a referendum, is because it would have been delayed. So it didn't come to the people because they didn't want to delay it anymore, which is why you have this mad rush to become a republic, to get it done, you know. But at the end of the day, when you really pay attention to this, it is not going to be historically sound when we look back at how Barbados became a republic. It is not going to have any beauty or any grandeur about it, because it was done, you know, it was rushed. It was not carefully thought out. Much of the current constitution was broken in order to get it done. So it's not something that we're going to look back at in years to come and be excited about, because the way it was, you know, carried out did not say we want our people involved in this. We want this to be something that Barbadians decided to do. And this is one of the things that the worldwide media must stop saying. They must stop saying that the people of Barbados chose to become a republic, because we did not. We did not make the choice. Okay, the Parliament made the choice. So, you know, that's something that they have to be clear on, to let international media know that this was not a decision of the people of Barbados.
Serious. I think you had a very valid corn with that last statement, in that it's being promulgated across the globe that Barbados and Barbadians are all pushing towards this, and we're all up in arms and all cheerful. And the reality is, it's more hell and high water, as far as I'm concerned.
Yep. It is.
Only today, today, I wanted to get the article. It's from Barbados Today. I think they did a survey recently, questioning, you know, who wanted a republic and who didn't want a republic. And according to the findings, overwhelming majority of Barbadians chose against it.
Okay, well,
I was like, okay, so why did they choose to do this post the ceremony? Why didn't they do that before? And this is just, again, how this system works together to kind of like give people, you know, this illusion that, you know, we're here on your behalf. Because reality is, and they put this information out prior to all of this, a lot more folks would have had reservations. Perhaps a lot more folks would have found some way of protesting against that in their own little subtle ways. And as a matter of fact, the walk they had on Monday last week down in the city, was met with a bit of resistance, more or less encouraging individuals to leave that area and not be caught on camera, because there were a lot of international media and just out in that vicinity naturally. And the whole idea,
that's true,
get you away from there as quick as possible, so that no one knows the people who disagree with this madness. The only unfortunate part is that they'll look at us and laugh, because a republic is gained by the people reaching a point where they say they don't want no more connection with the monarchy or whatever, and they pull away the thing. But we invite the monarchy here to be part of our celebration. And the ironic part that I mentioned earlier, we don't even bring up the question of reparation.
Okay.
Well,
you know that That question of reparation has been around for a long time. I remember actually speaking with Dr. Ike Tafari. I had a meeting with him when he was still in this realm. And that was around for a long time. I remember Reverend Buddy Larry. He was, very, very heavily involved in the push for reparations, which we haven't gotten. But the the, the dangerous thing in terms of saying that you have broken away from the monarchy is it really is a lie. And let me explain why it is a lie.
Okay.
I listened to an interview with the current ambassador to CARICOM, Mr. David Commichon. And in that interview he mentioned that there were several things that weren't done leading up to independence that stopped Barbados from actually being a fully independent nation.
Wow.
Okay. Two things he mentioned the two things he mentioned were the fact that we maintained the Queen as the head of state, and we maintained the Privy Council as our highest court of appeal. Now, there's some other things that he mentioned, but those are the two things that I want to talk about. Those are things at the top. Some other documentation he said that weren't completed, and other elements, but it showed us that for the last 55 years, the whole concept of independence has been a lie. The whole idea of a flag with a broken trident on it is a lie. Okay? Here's my point. Just because you live in a house, in your mother's or your father's house, and you have your own room, it doesn't mean you're independent. Okay? And basically, this is what we knew as independence was all about. We just had a room in the house. And because we were allowed to maintain our room by ourselves, it doesn't mean that you're not a part of the house. It doesn't mean you're broken away from the house. I mean, even if you build a bedroom onto your parents' house, it's still connected to the main house.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's what Barbados got as independence. So now the other element that I think should be mentioned here is that if you go online and you do research and you Google Prince Charles as it relates to Barbados, Prince Charles inherits Barbados when Queen Elizabeth dies. Okay? Barbados is in the will for him. He inherits Barbados, which is one of the reasons that he had to be here for this travesty that we call Republic. But then you bring him here and you give him the highest award that Barbados could give to an individual. You make him a free man of Bridgetown, which, by the way, was the same designation that Prince Philip had.
Right.
Okay, before he transitioned. So how do you break away and still give the person the key to your house?
He's Lord of the house.
Okay, exactly.
Okay.
How do you put someone out and still give them the key to the house? So again, we're seeing this. Oh, we want to break away from the monarchy. We want to move Queen Elizabeth, and we want to handle our own affairs. But then you give someone the key to the house and says, "Listen, whenever you're ready, you can just come. You don't even have to call us and let us know you're coming. Just show up because you got the key." So again, it goes to land to what kind of thinking has gone into Barbados becoming a republic, and I think it's very crucial right now. And you can see pockets of the nation, they're beginning to vent their frustration. They're beginning to speak more openly about the things that they're seeing happening, because slowly Barbadians are beginning to wake up, and this is what we have been basically waiting on. It's something I've been waiting on, and why I've been quiet, because I've been waiting on Bajans to wake up. They've been sleeping for so long, and now is the opportunity for them to see what's happening for themselves and make their own decision, and know that at the end of the day, Barbados should be about Barbadians, not about who we bring here, not about tourism. Barbados should be about Barbadians, and that's, you know, the bottom line.
That's right. Well, I think you said a whole mouthful. What do you see as a way forward in terms of Barbados and Barbadians coming to their realization that they've been hoodwinked and bamboozled again and again and again and again, at the point where now we must draw a line? How do you see us going forward? What do you think are some of the things that we need to look at as we move and chart our way forward?
Well, I think right now what we need in Barbados are brilliant people. We need brilliant people to come forward, and people that have a heart for the people of Barbados and the vision of Barbados. And this is what is critical. I think for the last 55 years, the vision of where Barbados can go as a nation has been blocked by our two ruling governments. And it stopped our people from seeing a better Barbados. The other part is that we have, if you ask individuals, where's Barbados going, they can't tell you, because, as you said, we've never been presented with a vision. And what needs to happen right now is a situation. We don't need younger people. What we need in Barbados right now is a fresh dimension of governmental power and authority. Okay, we need to put our nation back on track, not only spiritually, which is what we must do first, put our nation back in the right place spiritually. The next thing we need to do is to put our nation in the right perspective in terms of the rule of law.
Yeah.
And then the third element that we need to have is a governmental system now that really works for the people of Barbados, that would bring in, work with our people to bring in innovation, bring in new industries, bring in new technologies. And I say this because I had the opportunity a number of years ago to speak with the gentleman that by the name of Mr. Carlton Brathwaite. I had the chance to speak with him. I went to his house. We had a lengthy conversation. He was the head of the HARP project.
Wow.
The high altitude reconnaissance project. As a matter of fact, if you go to Paragon, there's still relics of that gun that is there. Now, what they were, yeah. As a matter of fact, then when that project was being done, the only other place it was being carried out was in Arizona, in the United States. So there were only two places where it was being done: Arizona in the U.S. and Barbados.
Right.
Now, if Barbados had continued on that trend, by now we would have had, as a nation, our own satellite in space, and we would not be hurt by you know, the slowness of Digicel and Flow and whatever other you know, companies or internet providers that are here. We would have been able to use our own satellite to create our own internet. But we've fallen behind, and he shared some very detailed things with me that I wouldn't say here, but I knew from him where it was heading, what was the plan going forward, and that got snuffed out. So Barbados is basically about 25 to 30 years behind where it could be as a nation, where our people could be.
I agree.
Okay. So what we have to do right now is to play catch up with where we could have been. And one of the things that he said to me is that a lot of major projects that would help make Barbados better is usually being shut down. Okay. Now I'm gonna leak this because I was talking to my dad, and my dad told me something that happened. He was cutting cane, and he came home late one evening. He was cutting cane in Turner's Hall, and he said when he got home, we were living in St. Andrew at the time. He said when he got home, he got to the top of the hill. He heard a voice said, "Turn around." And when he turned, he saw a jet stream of fire in the Turner's Hall area. And he said that thing burned the whole night, just a jet of fire going into the ear.
Wow.
So the morning he got up early, and he about 4:30, he said, he was walking to work to cut cane. He walked up there, and he said he went to see what was happening, And when he got up there, he walked into the area. He saw a lot of smoke, a lot of ash, a lot of stuff, And he said the white gentleman that came there, that was from a Canadian company called the Gulf. He said he asked my dad what he was doing there. My dad told him that he saw a jet stream of fire up here last night, and the gentleman told him, "Well, we hit on a vein of natural gas."
Wow.
And he said it's enough natural gas to serve Barbados for years, and it's going to be dirt cheap. It's going to be dirt cheap because of what we found. And he told my dad told me about it. He said that when they contacted the then government and told them what had happened, the government told them to cap it.
Wow.
Shut it down, which is one of the reasons why that old road in Turner's Hall got replaced by the new one, to keep people out of that area. So our nation is where it is because we had people here that couldn't see the future, couldn't see betterment for our people, and they've always shut the projects down. But if we had kept going, Barbados would be so far ahead of the rest of the Caribbean and so far ahead of many other nations of the world. I mean, even larger nations, we would be so far ahead of them today, and our people would be living better. They would be enjoying better lives, living in better homes, and it will be a sought after place for the right type of investment versus people who are coming here with projects that are only designed to make them richer and not really enhance what Barbados is really about and where we're going as a nation. So I think it's critical right now for the people of Barbados to look beyond what is happening. And I was listening to, before I come back to you, I was listening to President Paul Kagame. He's the president of Rwanda. And he made a very interesting statement. He said, in order to safeguard your country's future, you have to protect it from the people who created the problem in the first place coming back and leading your country. Very powerful statement.
That's right.
Very powerful statement.
I think you hit the nail on the head. I think what you said in essence is basically the government of Barbados in the last 55 years has basically stagnated the growth of this nation by design, because they never put the people first, they never put the youth of this nation first. And I can tell you that for a fact. Having a youth program, the mom and I can tell you, Barbados Youth Action Program, they never did anything for the youth of this nation. Whatever they wanted to do was never designed to uplift the youth. So the idea that, we could be a lot further, I'm aware of it. The problem is that people that so-called govern the land have never had the people interest at heart, still don't have the people interest at heart, and they continue to show us that they don't have our interest at heart. So we, like you said, have to reach the point where we realize that begging them to base on a constitution that never included us to start with, to give us a scotch on a bench at their table is pointless when we have the means and the knowledge and the energy to build our own. I think at this point, as you said, we got to reach the point where good people come forward and do what's necessary to lead this country to a better and brighter future. And I think that is paramount at this point. What we need to focus on more so than anything else as far as Barbados is concerned. Because you can't, as you said, you can't really fight them because clearly they don't have the interest of the nation at heart. I mean, 25 years, we have actually lost more in
Mhm.
25 years than we gained. So at
Yes,
this
sir.
point, it's impossible to recognize that that they have a love for us. The only love they have for is for the same royal family that they brought here and gave the highest award to. And it's funny because everybody up in arms about Rihanna award, but you don't hear
Mhm.
nobody talking about the award that was given to whatever that guy name is. But that's none of my business, huh?
No doubt.
But this has been great, though. I think that we got to do this again, though. I think that we could definitely share and build on a platform where others can get involved and share their thoughts. The comments are going off like crazy. There are all kinds of comments, all kinds of questions, but that's politically incorrect family. They don't give you a minute. They don't give you, and they stretch so far now, not just locally but regionally. I saw my brother from St. Vincent, the elder Francis, came on. I mean, it's another good brother from St. Vincent, powerful, dynamic
Right.
brother, and he's Seventh Day Adventist. You see one point. So what I'm
Okay.
saying is that we're not restricted by
Right.
title anymore. See, that's what they want us to do. Stay divided.
Correct.
Well, you're
Right.
Catholic,
Right.
and you're Anakin, and you're this and you're that, and you're this and you're that. And we're saying,
Yeah.
done with that. How can we help
Yeah.
each other move
Yeah.
forward? Not just as a nation, but as a region. Because at the end of the day, we all in this together, and we all we
Yeah.
got.
Well, there's a very powerful verse in Revelations, chapter 7, when it speaks about those 144,000 that are sealed. It goes on to talk about. He said, "Then appeared a numberless host out of every tribe and nation and language and peoples,
Wow.
those who had washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb." So it tells you something. If you have people who have achieved the same level, coming from every tribe and language and nation and peoples in the earth realm, it means that there are people in every nation who are striving for the same thing.
That's right.
And what we have to do is to begin the process of locating those people that are striving for the same thing. And I believe that's where we will find power. That's where we will find the ability to get the message to those that we need to get our message to. Because, again, we have not, as a people, we have not realized that when we elect someone, we give them an opportunity to hear our views.
Mm.
That's why we elect you, to hear our views and to gain a seat at the table for us to put forward our agenda to them, to tell them, okay, these are the things that we're dealing with.
Right.
These are the things at the business level, at the small business level. These are the things at the community level. These are things at the church level. These are things at
Right.
the socioeconomic level.
Mm-hmm.
These are what we're grappling with, on a daily basis. This is the state of crime. This is what we're experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
But when you see that our agenda and our voices are going unheard,
On deaf
and
ears.
no one is paying attention to our crying and to what we have, and what we're about, what's causing us pain, what's causing us, reality, and what is interfering with our equality, what's interfering with our peace, and what's interfering with the fact that we want to see a future. We want to see a betterment for our children. And when the folk that we elect refuse to listen to us, then it is our responsibility to stand up and say something to them, okay? And let them know we need you to know that elections are coming around again. And we're not going to be held captive by a few roads being done. We're not going to be held captive by a few more buses being put on the road, new garbage trucks, new garbage cans, because those things don't put money in our pockets.
That's right.
You see, and until, again, we as black people. And I think that in Barbados, we've lost the spirit of our fathers from 1937. We've lost our ability to recognize what our problem is and do what's necessary to get it fixed.
That's deep.
Okay.
That's deep.
And I you know, for me, as a spiritual leader, I see these things, and many times people don't understand that, like Joseph Brothers, God sends you people that will tell you what's coming.
That's right.
He sends you people ahead of time to save you, you know, to prepare the way ahead of you. That's how the divine works. And so many times when you don't hear those people, you don't listen to them, you try to destroy them, you try to kill them, you try to make them look like they're the worst possible thing out. Then the hardship comes on you. And then you realize, you know what? Oh my goodness, I was forewarned about this coming. He told me it was coming. And this is what Barbados needs to do. Barbados needs to get to the place where, and not just Barbados, but the Caribbean, because we've been Americanized for a long time. And now we're being, if I should coin the word, Chinanized. So we've got to do something right now. We really have to wake up.
Both of them had a revolution. Both of them had a revolution. They took it.
Yeah.
You know, so in a sense, maybe we are taking some aspects and not some aspects. But I would definitely, I'd like to add that I think in 2021, with all that is going on, I think people are at the point where they're realizing now that something has to give. And even if they were laying in the background quietly before, I'm almost at the point where I'm certain that it's only a matter of when at this point, and not a matter of if.
Yeah. You know, the great thing is that I have a lot of men of God and pastors and leaders and individuals now when I'm out and they see me and they said, man, you know, you were saying some stuff over a year and a half ago and we didn't listen, man. We should have listened. We should have paid attention. We wouldn't be here if we had paid attention. But again, that's how things manifest many times when, you know, God wants us to move to another level and he wants us to be prepared for what is happening. And sometimes individuals interfere with it because they know, okay, we're being exposed here and we've got to stop the exposing so that we can continue with our plan. And I'm very, very excited right now when I'm hearing people saying, you know what, again, the old Bayesian proverb, to be forewarned is to be forearmed.
Yes, I like that. I like that. I like that. Well, listen, we're going to definitely have to do a part 2 on this without question. Without question. You know, I mean, before you go, give us some words of wisdom from the spiritual leader.
Well, let me say this, and I've always I use a word called cosmology, and I also use another word that I coined called respectualization. And what this is that if you go through life and you never get the kind of knowledge or truth you need, your brain will begin to function in a certain way that will lock you into a system of life where you never achieve your goal. This is one of the reasons why the Lord gave through Moses to the children of Israel the law, which we call the Torah, which in reality is like scriptures. So it's a certain kind of knowledge. If you never get that certain kind of knowledge, you don't ever evolve. You will remain exactly how you are. What has happened to our people is that the rest of the world, and including the church, we've suffered because we've gotten our information from sources that were fragmented. And the Bible tells us that when I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought like a child. I acted like a child, but when I became a man, I put away childish things. Then it says that now we look into a glass darkly, but then face to face, we will be known as we are known. The information we receive have kept us behaving like children when we became men. And the information we received kept us in the dark for too long, so we never saw things clearly.
Wow.
And as long as you can't see clearly, you cannot properly articulate the road. What we need now is a kind of knowledge and a kind of wisdom that allows us to see clearly so that we can make the right choices, we can make informed decisions, and we no longer have to act as though we don't see or we don't know where we're going. Right now, there's a kind of light that is coming to the nations of the world, a kind of light that is coming to Barbados and Barbadians that the demonic world cannot handle. It will not be able to stop it. And the people are going to begin to see clearly, and we're going to know that this is a perfect day. It's a perfect day for us to know what the future is. It's a
Yes.
perfect day for us to lay claim to that future. And it's a perfect day for us to make sure we don't allow anything, any nation, any ideas, any thoughts, any demons, nothing of that nature to interfere with the fulfillment of that future because it's been divinely granted to us and it's all right to hold on to it, make it happen so that we can live well and our children can live well.
Wonderful, wonderful. I mean, so much was said tonight alone that there's really no excuse. I mean, just rewinding this and playing it forward so much, and the synergy was such that it just fall completely into place. And that's how divine design
Yes,
works.
sir. Yes, sir.
It's by us, but by the Almighty. And so, having said that, I say to you, I want to thank you on behalf of all the politically incorrect family. And I mean, I'm sure that without question, I can't even say it, man. When you get a chance, you have to read the comments. When you get a chance, it's just how we live, man. Politically incorrect. Good people
Yes, sir.
are better tomorrow, not just for self, but for all. And I think you said it tonight when you talked about a new knowledge or a new light. And I think that's where we are at a point where we
Yes, sir.
can't keep doing what we've been doing, expecting a different result. We have to
That's true.
change narrative. And in order to do so, we have to first look in to know who we are, to then know where we're going. Where there's
Yes,
no
sir.
vision, the people will perish without question. So I want to thank
Yes,
you,
sir.
Mr. Canterbury, giant in the land, warrior in the land as well. Big up to Sister Canterbury. She not
Yes,
easy.
sir.
Your side, respect 100, and the whole ministry. And a few of your members are part and parcel. So it's all love. It's
I
all
know
love.
that for sure.
Love. So that goes to show you that it is divine guidance all the way. So we give
Yes, sir.
thanks and we look forward to part two without question going forward, man. We got to rebuild our
Looking
nation.
forward to it.
I look forward to it as
Thank
well.
you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to be with you and the politically incorrect family. I had an amazing time. And I, like you, I'm looking forward to being with you again so we can share some more insight so that our people can be better.
That's right. Oneness is the thing. Oneness, man.
Yes,
So
sir.
we get thanks. Yeah. Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir. Blessings. Thank you so much, sir. Have a good one.
You too, bro.
Bye-bye.
All right, brother Scantleberry. Oh man, I mean, family, I ain't gotta tell y'all what to do, man. Just throw some kinetic energy towards the brother and his family and his whole congregation. You know, just energy, nothing but energy, nothing but energy, And that's how we living. We sharing the love, man. We sharing the love. Yes, you Rastaman, you had the apostle up there. It's man of the church, bonfire up on the church. You got to understand, right, that there are people who all they have is that Bible and the promise of Jesus. So to snatch that from people right now, what are you really doing? The idea of going from darkness to light is like a being that's sleeping. I mean, you sleeping soundly, you've been asleep for a while. If somebody comes and turn the lights on in your eyes too bright at once, you tend to close back your eyes and try to hide from the light. And the light is so blinding, it might even blind you. So you have to wake the people up gradually and bring them into a light. The brother talked about a new light. And I think for me, that was my omen because I recognize what he's saying. And having said that, I'm okay with it. I don't have no problem with that because I was once in the church. You can say nothing about Jesus to me. As a matter of fact, I felt I knew it all till I really started studying and realized certain things. So it's not about debating, who right and who wrong and the white man God and all this other madness. It's not even about that. It's about how you live what you live in. If you say you Christian, well then live that life. If you say you Muslim, live that life. If you say you Rasta, live that life. If you say you whatever, live that life. You know what I'm saying? So love is a key, family. Definitely want to thank the brother again. It was amazing. Um, what else can be said, really? Nataki, I didn't get a hold of the sister for whatever reason. She was in the mountains a couple of days ago. I hope she found her way back out the mountains. That's all I can hope for. But nevertheless, everything happened the way it happened, supposed to be great. So we give thanks. But wow, tonight was, yeah, give thanks, family. Love y'all, y'all make this thing happen. Y'all make this possible. Y'all make this worth coming here 3 nights a week. Y'all make this worth it. You know what I'm saying? Give thanks to everyone that comes in and plug in and tell a friend to tell a friend. Years from now, they're gonna look back at this and realize we was light years ahead of our time. When they're scrolling through the comments and realize that, yo, these people were ahead of their time. Yeah. Love me now, love me later, man. You're gonna love us regardless. Love us all the while. But yeah, family. I need a tune, man. Somebody give me a tune. Wait, Phil, come on, man. Phil, you miss it, man. Phil, you miss it, man. Yeah, I know you're in the building, Phil. I can sense your presence. I can sense your presence. Yeah, the brothers Canterbury was dropping the science, man. The nation of Israel, Isis, Ra, and El. We divine beings, family. We divine beings. We children of the Most High, children of the Son. You know what I'm saying? The Son of God. That's who we are. And there's nothing they can do to stop us, no matter how they try. We don't need no constitutional rights. We got divine rights. You kidding me? If children wasn't watch this, I'd like to tell you what to do with your constitution, man. We have our own constitution. Don't worry about it. And we gonna defend it the same way too. Oh, that's the best part, though. That's the best part. That's the best part. London Bridge has fallen, has fallen, has fallen. Great discussion I have been following from Dominica. Wait, look, somebody from Dominica. You see what I'm talking about, man? Dominica in the building. You kidding me? Pastor Scannon. Brother, man, Charles, I know. Blessed love to you too. And my brother is St. Vincent too. We give thanks. It's only together is how we gonna do this thing, family. Together. It's a togetherness we doing this. No other way. Only together. Dominica is Barbados family, vice versa. We all one people. You see, that's the one of the things they don't ever want to tell us, that they took indigenous people from different parts of the region and shuffled them around. That's how the people got to Jamaica. They actually told you that they took the rebellious ones and sent them to Jamaica. Imagine that. They told you that. So everybody didn't come from Africa. Some are already here. Let's realize that, man. So, wow, somebody here in London. You gotta be kidding me, man. As a matter of fact, wow. Oh, man. Sadia, I give thanks for you as well. Give thanks, give thanks, give thanks. People all over the globe plugging in. I mean, tell a friend to tell a friend. Look, we are honored to have you. We're grateful to have you. You know, I could hear my people in the back telling me, yo, post a link, post a link. Remember, you're on here Mondays, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 p.m. or just a few minutes after, depending on any technical glitches that we may be experiencing due to the agent Smith or the Smiths. I don't know. But we here nonetheless. And, if you feel the need to support, if you can, much appreciated. The PayPal account, y'all know how to reach it. But for the rest of the people who love it, tell a friend to tell a friend. That's how this message gets around. And it's through sharing that we get to, bear witness, man. One of these nights we have to open up the floor. ISIS, give me about a week. About a week we should have that. We're working on something where you can call in. And I do have the device, like I said, it was just a compatibility issue with old hardware versus new hardware. And that was the only glitch. But we working on it. We gonna fine tune that within another week or two. And we gonna have a night where we just open up and call in wherever you are, WhatsApp, and just share testimony of what your life is like wherever you calling from. So we give thanks. We give thanks to all those watching from different parts of the world. Definitely give strength. What was the brother? I had a sister at night from Australia. We got the brother calling from Ethiopia. I mean, the brother here in Dominica, and the other one here in England, in London. I can't imagine, like I said, all these safe zones and stuff they're talking about. Family, stop paying taxes. Full stop. Stop supporting these criminals by giving them your money. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Bottom line. That's how we're going to deal with this. The more income tax. The more income tax. They don't get that money. How they going to collect your money and then want to marginalize you about safe zones and all this madness? Keep your money. Nurses, go to work. If they trouble you, I ain't going to tell you. And let me tell you, if the police have the audacity to move nurses from the hospital, listen to what I'm telling you. Understand that they don't mark themselves, man. Think about it. A police go and move a nurse from working in the hospital where she been working a whole year with no problems. All of a sudden now she's a problem. And y'all going to actually take the duty of going there and keeping nurses out of the hospital. Y'all sick, man. And that badge don't save y'all. Remember, there's no more queen. You can't hide behind the crown. You can't hide behind the crown. The reason why Barbados is such a, what they say, a docile place is because of the mind control that goes on. It's a spell. But y'all can imagine what will happen when the spell is broken. Y'all ain't seeing that far, right? Y'all ain't really studied this thing too good. Imagine, right, when the day come that spell is broken. And it will happen. It's already happening. You see the numbers growing daily. Rastafari. Welcome to the new Barbados. I keep telling y'all, I think I'm playing. Y'all better stand down here. Stand down. That's all I can tell y'all. And I'm definitely not the problem y'all gotta worry about. I'm just one of the faces. The problem is the ones y'all don't know. See, that's the problem. The Black Lion security, y'all gotta study who they are. I'm not the issue. It's the unseen that can be seen. Y'all don't want to see them though. I'm telling you. I love it, man. Stand down and stand by. Here? Stand down and stand by. Nurses, we love y'all. I don't know if y'all still on strike or not. I don't think y'all should be striking. A lot of people who need your help. As far as I'm concerned, y'all need definitely need a pay raise without question and less time in the clinic, hospital. Let's do programs, incentivize nurses to take that job. Let's do things to help them in any way we can and take some of the stress off. So, Barbados, we stand by our nurses. Full stop. If we got to go to the hospital ourselves and stand guard, so be it. But y'all will not be allowed to disenfranchise and disrespect the nurses of this island. Although the other group still on par for obvious reasons, and we know what the reasons are. That's not a problem. Not a problem. We overs. We overs. Hold firm, family. Hold firm. Jackie, give me a tune. We have to save ourselves. We're gonna save each other. We're gonna save each other. That is a spell. I got the elder here teaching. The elder here teaching in motion. That's right. That's right. That's right. Teach, teach, teach. See, that's what they're afraid of, right? That's why they never, like your brother just said, they kept the island back. Because the minute we start to prosper, we ain't going to be under their control. But they keep you begging for that little pittance. That little pittance. I wouldn't be surprised if that other union got a little extra money for the nurses. I wouldn't be surprised if they got a little extra something differently. Maybe not everybody, but the ones that make the decisions. You know how that thing go. The ones that got you sworn in, shake hand or whatever crap they be doing. Yeah, them ones. Yeah, them ones. Prince Charles. You gotta be kidding me. Rastafari. At least the last of the first. That's what we dealing with. That's what we're dealing with. Oh man. Let me drop a tune here real quick. Let me drop a tune here real quick. The school system is a fraud and destroying the children. I agree. Steve, you can say another word. I gotta definitely. And that's gonna drop this one here real quick, man. Just gonna let that one. I let that play out, man. Just let this play out.
And they try to fool the black population by telling them that Jaja did.
So,
I knows that Jano did.
that was going on, family.
Jano did.
John no dead. Here, family. Let's keep that in mind. Let's keep that in mind. John no dead. Try to fool the black population. Imagine that. So we don't have no hope, but in the government, we don't have no hope in nothing.
Jano did, Jano did, Jano did, Jano did, Jano did, no, Jano did. My knowledge increase, my memory fed, Marcus Garvey would say, Ruma, Mahakos.
St. Coffee University in the making. Man to man is so unjust. Serious. Any other family?
It was Hyman who said,
hold firm, as always. Much love, respect each and every one.
The lion did crown the king. The lion did crown the king.
There's a force that dwells inside of you. Remember that. Remember that, family. That they can't take from you. They can't take that from you. They can't take it from you. Remember that.
Looking at the bank of the beautiful river. In your journey, I'll sing.
Serious.
I and I will discuss about this matter.
John no dead. Here, family. John no dead. I love it. I love it. I love it. John no dead, family. Yeah, I'm gonna let it marinate on that one right there, man. Seriously speaking. I see you, Empress. I see you. Blessed love, family. You know, like I said, y'all make this whole thing worth it. You know, I'd be looking forward. You know, I could think of a million other things I could do right now that I wouldn't even mind doing in terms of studying, researching. This is what I've been done before. But now I get to share my, my space with you, and you get to share your time with me. So I humble at that. You know what I mean? Give thanks. Again, big up to the brother, big up to the sister Nataki. I gonna link her and see if she good. I gonna knock some pop real quick, and do a little sap. I'm gonna make dumplings, man. I can never make dumplings properly. You got this thing with dumplings, man. I don't know. Anyhow, we can figure it out tonight. But there's all love, family. There's all love. I give thanks to each and every one of you. Remember, right at the end of the day, we owe it to our children and our children's children, so that when they look back, they can say, yeah, well, we wouldn't be here if not for the movement and the efforts that was made by those who came before. Rastafari, Haile Selassie the First, Empress Zero Menin, One perfect balance, family. Yes, full joy. But we're working on some stuff, like I said. So just bear with us. Bear with us. Bear with us. Yeah. One perfect balance. Yes, Rasta. Yeah. Yo, by the way, before I go real quick, I gotta mention this. Sorry. I gotta mention this. I have a very dear and very close associate of ours. I mean, of ours for real, who recently came back from abroad, who, is not jabbed, but came back anyhow with a negative documentation, which is the only way you could travel. And the things that she had to go through, when she told me, and still going through, after watching these pink people walk through freely with no restrictions, freely and everything, is a testament of what is to come. Her testimony, man, will bring red to your eyes, man, with nothing but anger. I should think that an individual who's here, born and raised in this nation, have to go through such scrutiny to come back home to a family. Accountability here, family, is all they're saying. Accountability. If there's indeed a universal judge, cannot sit back and watch this any longer. Full stop.